Whey! Look at that for a double shot, guys. How's about that? Cracking small-eyed and a nice conger eel. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another session. Today, well, another early morning session. It's just got light now, but light enough for me to film. Well, I've only just got here really, so I forgot a headlamp. So I didn't walk over in the dark, obviously, because I didn't want to fall off the hill. So if you can't tell, we are currently on Witches Point at Southern Down, where we're going to be mainly targeting the rays, and more so specifically the small-eyed rays, and also got a bit of crab as well, because there should be a few hounds about today. Which chips are there? We go. Robbie, my mate Robbie, I don't know if Robbie's even been in the video yet, but yeah, my mate Robbie Grattan was down here yesterday morning, I think it was. No, Saturday morning. It's currently Monday morning, and he was here on Saturday morning, and he bagged up big time. In total, he had like 8 species or 7 species, whatever it was. He had small-eyeds, thornback, spotties, little huss, a couple little taupe, 2 gurnard, and hounds, and I think he had dogs. I can't quite remember, but you know, that's a lot of species for a mark on South Wales, which is a pretty good session. I was going to go with him, but basically I ended up working Saturday so I could have a bit of time off in the weekday to go fishing. So so here we are. It's a slightly smaller tide than it was on Saturday. It's currently a 13.2 metre tide, I think it is. It's the smallest of the set. But on the weekend it was bigger. It was like a 14 metre tide. It tends to fish better on a big tide a lot of places. But on here, when you're fishing off the front, which is where Robbie was, on a big tide, you manage it all on the flood. But on the drop, it's just so much tide, it ends up taking your lines way off the point into the reef. But on these smaller tides, you can fish for basically as long as you want. So I'm going to get these rods set up now, get some baits out there, and see what we can find. So stay tuned and see how we get on. Well, then my first 2 rods out there now. I've got a crab on a 3-foot pulley on the left, and on the right hand rod is a whole squid on an up and over. Whenever I'm fishing for the hounds, obviously with crab or prawn or whatever, I always use a 3-foot pulley, well, around 3 foot. And then, as you've obviously seen and noticed, up and over is my ray fishing. If I'm fishing a flat beach, I tend to use pulleys. I don't use an up and over for the reason that people say your bait's got to be held on the bottom, because I don't particularly think that's true myself. I think I just like it as well, especially when you got a strong side on wind or just casting into the wind. Like we got today, it's a strong side on wind. A shorter rig casts better, so I'm fishing a 5-foot hook link, or 4 to 5 foot hook link. So obviously that goes down to like 2.5 foot roughly once it's all clipped up. So it's obviously half the length. So it casts better. And I just prefer them. I just started using them a couple of years ago and haven't stopped since. But if I am fishing a low water venue that is slightly rough, like say, for instance, if I fish the Frog, I would fish pulleys, because you could fish a weak link down there. And I never like using an up and over with a weak link, because if you do get your lead back, or even just generally if you do lose your head, I find because the hook link's below the lead, hangs down below the lead, you've got more risk of it tangling. So Just that's a nice thing with a pulley, it's all above. Just baiting it with some mackerel now. So the ones I caught when there was loads around Barry. Just gonna chuck a chunk of that out there now. I have got a third rod with me as usual today, but I'm gonna fish that with a 3 clip down, and I'm literally gonna cast it off way off to the left. There's a little hole in the rocks over there where you can wedge your rod in, so I'll get my spare rig baited up now and then I'll get that one set up. So let's give it a go, is it? Well, I just reeled in my 3 clip down, and I had squid, mackerel and sand eel on there, and didn't even see a bite. But no doubt I did give a bite, obviously missed it. Reeled in, there's a nice spotty on there. I knew it wasn't a dog reeling it in, it felt a bit better. It was fighting quite well. As spotties tend to do, they are quite, I mean, out of all the rays, pound for pound, they're probably one of the hardest fighting ones. There's a nice spotty. Probably coming to £3, it's quite a fat one. Nice way to start the session off. There are quite a few around at the minute, from what I've seen on posts on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Yeah, not a bad way to start it all off. We've still got ages of fishing left anyway, so hopefully it's the first of many. And that's the second species down. I don't know if you could pick it up, but they got some wicked patterns in the eyes on the spotted rays. If you could pick that up, like a weird looking flowery colour coming, a flowery pattern coming down. I'm gonna get a quick snap of him now. Quick photo. Well, her. Get a quick photo of her, and then send her home, and then get my rig baited back up and cast straight back out there. I'll give you a quick look at my 3 clip downs now anyway, but yeah, happy days, lovely fish. I send her home. Right, so my 3 clip downs for this kind of fishing, over the clean ground for like your rays and dogs and stuff. I'm normally fishing, let's get that rod out the way. I normally fish 1/0s, or well, size 1s to 2/0 circles, and then I'll also make them up with 2 hooks with the 3/0s on. Hook links are between 15 to 17 inches long, and they are £25 hook links. And these ones, there's 1/0 circles. Just got them at the minute baited up with a little bit of mackerel. I will, like with my pulleys and up and overs, I fish a 250-pound braided dongle, just purely because you're casting off of that, and it's a bit more strain on it, and a bit more wear and tear in it. But with smaller and finer baits, I only fish an 80-pound braided dongle. And I fish 3 hooks above the lead. You can make them, I mean, because it ends up being quite a long rig, and if you don't like casting long rigs, or you're limited of where you are, if you've got a slope behind you, you can fish 2 above the lead, and then 1 with the bottom hook link, basically like you would with the loop rig, where you got a cascade swivel above the hook. But myself, I don't like to do that. When I'm fishing lighter hook links, I don't normally like having a hook link below the lead, especially when I'm using a gripper, because it does tend to tangle. But yeah, that's my rig for this kind of fishing. And like I said, if you are going to fish, if you'd rather fish a shorter rig, myself, I'd rather fish just a 2 clip down to drop it down in the length. And just, I mean, realistically, you don't really need to fish 3 hooks on a pleasure, couldn't even say my words then, pleasure session. But obviously in a match situation, if you're fishing a match or whatever, this kind of stuff, then obviously it pays to have 3 hooks. But obviously, just a bit of a chilled session like this morning. Not really expecting to catch 3 fish on it in one go. I wouldn't say no if it did come along, obviously. It's a nice little bonus. But I don't struggle casting a longer rig like that, so why not, I suppose? An extra hook, an extra chance. Yeah, just down to a 7-ounce lead. Just got an imp on the bottom. So yeah, that's my 3 hook clip down. If I'm fishing the rough ground, I'll fish shorter hook links, like a 10-inch hook link or something. But typically for this kind of stuff, I do prefer longer. But yeah, around 16 inches is plenty, really. So yeah, I'm going to get this straight back out there now. Just going to cast it off to the left. No, I didn't even particularly cast it that far, so got just strips of mackerel and all hooks. So yeah, let's see what we'll find now. Just had a nice little pull over on my right hand rod here. This one's on the mackerel bait. See what's there. Fish there. There's a fish there. Let's cross our fingers, this is a ray. It's not ideal, is it? Ooh. Look everyone, we've caught another dogfish. I bet that's been sat on there for ages. The dreaded doggy. Hopefully not going to be a nuisance this morning. I'll get this rig baited back up and check that left one, because I won't be surprised if there's one on there as well. Nothing worse than when you go to check your rod or check your bait and there's a doggy sat on it that hasn't given a bite. You're just thinking then, when as soon as you cast out, is there one jumped on it straight away does not give a bite? That one next is just going the whole squid on the old dangle. Let's sling it out. We've been getting some more bites on the third clip down. Just had another few pullovers on it. Oh, there's fish there. I don't know if it's 2 or possibly 3 dogs or whatever, but or one bigger ray. Bit of weight there. And it's pulling back a bit, so fingers crossed there's a ray on there. Or 2 rays. One ray. There he is on the surface there. Hang on, 2 rays. You got a double shot of spotted rays here. Wow, that is a small ray. The second one. Check this out. Oh, he just come off. He's not even surfaced by there. Oh, it's a baby smallite. This one. He's only by there. Oh well. He's gone. But there's a little smallite on the old through clip down again. Get that line on my face. Happy days. I think I'm going to get a through clipped on the other rods as well now, because I'm only having dogs on them, and that's 2 casts with a through clipped on, and what should have been 3 rays, because there was one tiny ray on it, literally probably half the size of that. It was a tiny little thing. There he goes, another ray. Only a baby, little smallite. It's another species though, to add to the tally. There's 3 now. So we've had dogs, smallites and a spotted. Let's send the baby home. Little baby. Well, I just went to check one of my rods, and like before, I didn't even have a bite. There's a little baby spotty on there, look. That one was taken on the squid. Hooks out. Just a lump of squid there, look. On the up and over. There's another ray for the session, second spotty. I want to get him straight back in, or her, get her straight back in, back home. Get that rig baited back up quick. And get it straight back out there and try and get another one. Hopefully something bigger in a minute. But I ain't complaining. It's always nice to be catching no matter how big they are. Very nice. Well, I just stuck a crab on a right hand rod and almost straight away I had a bite on it. I thought it was going to be a hound that pulled over quite well and just stopped. Started to think there was a bit of weed on the line, but it seemed to grow that bit too much to be weed. And as you can tell, there's a big swell. So it might have been, don't know. Hopefully it's a fish. But coming into September now, I mean it's the 9th today. It's coming into, obviously, this time of year now, the autumn, the hounds will shoot off. We should have some good blonde ray fishing. And then into those dreaded couple of months of like January, February, when the fishing really does get tough. Because the cod fishing nowadays, as we all know, is not what it used to be. They're catching a few down in Chesil now. I mean, September, October is probably your best time of month down there for the cod. Not that they're big or anything, just you've probably got a better chance down there now than you have round here during the right time of year, if that makes sense. But October, November around here, you tend to see the bigger fish of the bunch. But last year was probably one of the worst years I've known. Like, I'm 26, and when I first got into fishing, going out with my dad, we used to go down in Sully Bay, and I was really young. I mean, I started fishing when I was like 5. I just was loving it just as soon as I could walk, really. I was just mad for it. Oh, I got a big slack line on my rod over there in the 3-hooker. I seen the line just drop. But anyway, yeah, when I was a kid, me and my dad obviously spent quite a lot of time fishing together. We used to go down Sully Bay, because we live in Sully. So we used to go down there when I was a kid, to just literally fishing a couple hours after work. And after work for my dad and after school for me. And we used to get quite a few codling. Get them every time we used to go. But even then, my dad was like, oh, this is rubbish from what it used to be. Like back in the day, you used to just go out knowing you were going to get them. Now, if you spent a whole season for cod and you had 5, that's pretty impressive, which is shocking, really. Because cod fishing is wicked fun when they're on, anyway. Try and have a look at that 3-hook clip down now, because the line is very slack. No doubt that's a fish, hopefully another ray. I'll take you guys over there and have a look now. See what's on there. It looks like we've got another fish on this one. On 3-hook clip down. Something's on there, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah. Fish on. Fish on. Not sure what he is. We shall find out soon. That line's coming up way out there, look. Oh, not that you'll be able to see, but the line's coming up really far out there, so that's normally an indicator that you got a ray. Because they get their nose up, and obviously as you pull the pressure, it just shoots them up. So I'd imagine this is a ray, again, on the 3-hooker, yep. There's a ray up there. I think there's another fish on there. Might not be, but it looked like there was something behind it. That's 3 casts with a 3-hook clip down and 3 rays now. And we've only had 1 ray on the bigger baits. Is it more than 1 fish? Oh, I got an eel. Oh, it's not a ray. I'm sure I've seen a ray flapping on the surface. This is a ray behind it. That's a nice eel, that. I thought we were going to land this one though, to be honest. There's only light hook links. I will see where he's hooked though. Oh no, there's a ray on there. Oh yeah, that's a double shot. And then, is there 3 fish on there? I want to land this. I got a nice eel, a small-eyed. I don't think we're going to land these 2 fish, but if we do, it's going to be wicked. Let's have a look. Whey! Look at that for a double shot, guys. That was about that. Cracking small-eyed and a nice conger eel. Lovely stuff. All on a 3 clip down. How's about that? That's not bad. Not bad if I say so. Get that small light spin round. That's a good double shot. I think I better bin the up and overs and get on the 3 clip downs. Right, I'm gonna get these on the floor now and I'll bring you back for a closer look. Well, here it is, look. On the top hook link, I have a conger eel. It's probably about 6-7 pound. And then that small-eyed was on the middle hook, but it slid it down, slid the crimp down. And there's your small-eyed. Nice chunky one, about 5 pound. Let's have a look at them both together. Let's have a look. They're wicked. What do you reckon on that, guys? Not a bad double shot. What's the point of catching fish at once at a time? You might as well catch 2 at a time, innit? That is very nice. That rig is trashed, mind. Now, that small-eyed slid it down, that one crimp. And that eel has frayed that hook link. It must have been obviously folded round on itself and frayed that hook link. The hook's bent out a bit. Obviously, if I hook a bigger fish on that, I'm going to end up losing it. Let's get this rod out the way. Just goes to show that you don't need big baits. Not that they're, you know, big fish, but they're just little average nice fish, you know. So it just goes to show it's not all about big baits. And as well, also I've got my main 2 rods, normal baits, casting up towards the front of the point that I've had 1 small-eyed and 2 dogs on. And this one, 3 clip down, small hooks, tiny baits, casting way off onto the left. I've now had 2 small-eyeds, an eel, a spotted ray, dropped a ray, and I've also had a dog on it. So I had more fish, more species, bigger fish, the lot on this one. So, well, there's the eel. And then the small-eyed, which is about an average stamp, same as the eel really. Both average stamped fish really. Nice small-eyed. Sweet. Nice. Well, I'm gonna get these 2 fish back. Well, I'm gonna have a photo with the double shot, mind. Get a quick photo and send them back home. And obviously get that rod straight back out there, because there's fish out there now, guys. Loads of fish. Well, that wind's picking up now, but the fish are still on the feed. Just had a nice slack liner. And what feels like a nice fish. It almost feels like a dead line because every now and then it stops. It locks up, you know, so. It'd be nice if it was one big fish, but I don't think it is. It's coming. It's definitely moving. It's heavy, whatever it is. Well, the shock leader's up. So we won't see the fish any second now. I see the ray because it's doing like a figure of 8, the line's spinning all over the place. So it's probably ray backwards. Yeah. It's not even that big at all. Oh no, yeah, there's a dead line on it, I think. Yeah. Hang on, let me sort this out now. Let me sort this line out now and I'll get back to you. I'll say that, hang on. It's actually just come off. Oh. That line snapped. The dead line. And there is another smallite, guys. And what was a dead line tangled in with it. Very smallite. But a fish. Oh. I was on a double sand eel. That one. First fish I've had on sand eel this morning. There's another one for the tally. That's our third smallite. I'm going to get him straight back and get that bait back out there. Well, just to have a little test, I've put a tour clip down on my left hand rod, little strips of mackerel, and I've walked up to where I'm normally casting and stuck it out the same sort of space, and I've had a bite on it straight away. I'll leave it because there is 2 hooks on there, and I've been fishing with, in both of these rods I've been fishing with pulleys and up and overs all morning, and I've had, was it 2 rays on them now? And a few dogs. Yeah, they're through a clip down. I've had a ray every cast with that one. Oh, there's one cast where I didn't have a ray but I had a dog on it actually. I didn't show that one though. So, I mean that's one of the biggest reasons I always take 3 rods when I'm fishing, especially if I'm moving with the tide, I won't fish 3 because it's just, it's obviously just difficult moving your stand down the beach and up on the beach with 3 rods. If I'm fishing a venue where you're not moving with the tide like this today, I do like to have 3 because you can try something different. So if you imagine I didn't bring that 3rd rod today, then I wouldn't have really had that many fish. So I always have a 3rd on me. People think it's doing out of greed, but it's not. For a start, I like to have a spare rod anyway, just in case, I bust an eye or snap the rod or just some random accident or whatever, and I'm 1 rod down. Nothing worse that does my head than using 1 rod. It just stresses me out, I don't like it. So I like to have a 3rd rod just in case. But a lot of the time I'll fish a 3rd rod. Normally I'll fish it with a 3 clip down or a whole mackerel or squid enclosed for a bass. Because there's been a lot of times when that 3rd rod has saved me from a blank, or just had a nice bonus fish like a bass or a few fish, like a few different species on the clip down. So I definitely do recommend having a 3rd rod, if you got a 3rd rod that is. I know a lot of people don't. They got their 2 main rods and that's it. tried a bit of crab again on my right hand one. I'm surprised we haven't had a hound yet. I mean, it's quite a small tide today, so that's probably a part of the reason why we haven't really had a great deal of tide. I mean, it's about high water now, so I probably only fish about an hour of the drop and just shoot off then. So you might have a chance of a hound on the drop because you tend to get a bit more tide then. There's a slight bit of tide there now, really, so you never know. But I'll give it a bit and see what happens with this left one. It hasn't gone since. I had the pullover, and that's all it's done so far. So hopefully it hasn't dropped it. Yeah, it's been a pretty good session so far. We've had, what is it now? It's that eel. I think I've had about 5 dogs. I haven't showed them all because who wants to see dogfish when there's rays coming out? So that's an eel, about 5 dogs, 2 spotteds. Was it 3? No, 2 spotteds and 3 or 4 small eyes, whatever it is. And that one tiny small eye that I dropped. A tiny little thing. So it's been a pretty good session so far. I do like this time of year, September, October time. It's normally quite an easy thing to get into the fish, you know, so especially the ray fishing, it's great. Oh, that left one now, that's got a bite now by the looks of it. Right on cue. That's what I was going to say, is this time of year now, when you do start seeing a few eels turn up, it is normally a sign of a bit of more bait fish out there, like the little whiting and pouting. So basically when I get back from holiday, I'll wait for a calm bit of settled weather, nice small tide, and get down Ogmore Deeps for the congers then. I normally would fish them in the night. Yeah, the tide there now is taking me quite far right. But yeah, like I was going to say, I normally would fish the congers in the dark because it is better. But I don't normally like filming in the dark, so I'll probably do a bit more in the daytime down there to try and get some decent fish on camera. I had a wicked session there. It was October last year. I was at Ogmore Deeps with my mate Adam Farmer, and it was one of those days you just couldn't go wrong. It was amazing. We had, I mean, I think I had about 15 congers in the end, up to about 12-13 pounds. And a nice double figure bullets, I think it was like 10 pounds something. And I had a small eyed. We had quite a few whiting as well. Adam also had a load of eels. I only had the one ray between the two of us. But yeah, it's great. I had 4 congers and a bullhead, so that's 5 fish on 1 whiting that day. I had a whiting. It was a nice fish actually. It was not far off a pound, I'd say, so I cut it up. But I had half of it out there, and I had an eel on it straight away. It was like that kind of fish where you chuck your rod out there, chuck it on your stand, and straight away you're getting a fish. It was like hound fishing that day. And again, that's another situation on that day where third rod came in useful. So I had the third rod over the side with bits of ragworm on small hooks, catching a fresh bait. Had a few whiting and pouting. And the result, you cast them out on your bigger baits and catching the eels then. I'll give this left hand rod a check in a minute and see if there's a fish on it. While I'm baiting up my next rig, ready to go now, I thought I'd give something a quick mention. Was something that I think gets massively missed is the safety side of fishing. I think a lot of people tend to sort of push it aside to think, I don't know, it's just, you speak to some people about it and they're like, oh, just go down and land the fish, it's only a bit of swell. But sometimes it's one of those things where it just doesn't take a lot sometimes. No matter how much of an experienced fisherman you are, or just experiencing with the sea in general, it only takes that one freak wave. I mean, even marks like this now, the swell, you can probably notice the swell going past now. It's not that bad. But I know for a fact, if you went in there now you would have a difficult time getting out. It would not be easy. You got jagged rocks everywhere. Like what we stood on now is nice and flat, so it makes you think, oh, it's fine. But if you go in, but just over the edge there, there's some really jagged rocks. I mean, even as that tide drops back out now, there's a big rock on my right hand side here that gets uncovered. And you get bashed about against that. Same with that side there, and as it cuts in where my third rod is, there's a big rock. So if you went in, you hit yourself on that, you get bashed about against it. Like I said, it's just one of those things that people just tend to sort of not talk about with these sort of marks. Especially making videos, and if there's people out there that have never got into fishing and are looking to get into it, it's one of the most important things to learn, is the safety side of it, and being able to notice the swell before you start fishing. And like for instance, Ogmore Deeps, I could think of so many people that I spoke to over the years, and here actually, that are really experienced fishermen, and they've had their gear taken in down the deeps. I mean, the deep specifically is one of the ones I had the one night. I went down on my own. It was quite a bad night. It was a strong, like northwesterly, but it was enough to have made the difference to the surf, to the swell. And I was landing a fish, and a swell come up, and it went almost up to my waist. And it was only like a 10-pound eel. It wasn't even that big of a fish. And it makes you think then, you know, is it worth risking your life just for a fish, no matter how big it is or how much of a special fish it is? Because obviously it's not. So yeah, it's always worth just keeping that in mind. And as you just notice with certain directions of winds, with certain venues on certain size tides, like here on a big tide, it's fishable, but it comes right up to the edge of the ledge. And as the tide drops back out, then you'll see it just floating past here so strong. And if you went in there, something happened, you went in, even if you're with your mates, there's very little someone can do. Oh, got pulling over. That's a fish. As I was saying, when it's, you know, in the wrong time, when something happens and something, you know, you go in or your mate goes in, oh, that's definitely a ray. On my line is going around the rocks, so I'm gonna have to go up there to reel it in. I gotta go because it's gonna cut me off in a minute. But I'll bring you fish back now. I would bring you over there, but it's so windy where you're gonna not really hear me too well, I don't think. Well, I reeled that rod in. Well, I did take the camera up there to film it, reeling it in, and I quickly watched the clip back, and the sound was rubbish because of the wind. But another double shot look. A dog and a small eye this time. Let's grab him. A dog and a small eyed. It's been about the average stamp of the small eyes today, like £3. Normally do get a few bigger ones mixed in, but little baby ones today. That's pretty much every single fish today has been on mackerel. I've had one ray on sand eel, but everything else is just taking the mackerel. See those hooks out. Give it one quick look before we chug them back. There you go, guys. Let's fish them all now. Probably give it another half hour, 40 minutes and make a move then. Because our tide's picked up quite a bit. Oh, there's a seal out there. There's a seal. There's about like by here. There's a log going past. See if he comes back up. He was going left. Not often you see a seal this time of year, but then, I mean, the sea is at its warmest temperature now, so not really much of a surprise. Well, guys, it's another species look. fall into the 3 clip down. A little baby bullhead. Another species for the day. A little baby bullhead. Right guys, well, as you can probably tell, the video's cut short slightly. I had some, I was looking back, well, I finished the session, and I normally look back at just a bit of footage on my last clip before I put the camera away. And I noticed the past few clips had no audio, which is not good. I know it's not my mics, because they were all on and working fine. I use the DJI Mic 2s, they're the mics I use. And then for the actual film I use a GoPro. And you got the media mod that the GoPro goes in. And there's like there's a cable there to connect the mic receiver to the media mod for the GoPro. And the only thing I can pin it to is that the little insert for the cable in the media mod's got a bit of corrosion in it. There's been a couple clips through the session that I'm gonna have to get rid of. But yeah, I had a couple nice fish towards the end of the session. I had one better size small-eyed, and then one about my last cast that I know for a fact that the audio didn't work on. But yeah, normally, well, basically I got 2 GoPros. I got one that the filming on now currently that I usually keep on my GoPro stick if I'm walking around, and then I got another one then that goes in my media mod that goes on my tripod with a mic on it. But oh well, there's very little I could have done about that. But I'm glad that problem solved and sorted, so it doesn't happen again. Because there's been a few times I've had to do voiceovers the past couple of videos, which obviously isn't the best. So I'll get that problem solved, and yeah, just back over the hill now, back at the van, go home, get changed, and get straight to work. And get some work done before I go on holiday. Got a few jobs to finish off. So yeah, hopefully the next time I see you guys, I shall be sat in the sun, catching something different for you guys to see. So until then, I'll see you next time.